Welcome back to Bonanza Disc Golf. Today we're going to be taking a look at two discs for a Patreon sponsor, Baggett or Bennett. We only asked for one, but I thought we'd do a comparison, and then I realized we should probably bring this guy in for another comparison because we're going to be looking at the ESP Undertaker today. That's what the Baggett or Bennett is for. There's also a titanium Undertaker on sale, so we're going to compare these two plastics, and then I realized this was Paul's, cutting up the woods disc, and that's normally what I use 7502 discs for, and he just came out with his own T-Bird clone, which is the first run ATHENA. So we're going to be playing 5 holes here at Northside Park in Gainesville, Florida, with just these 3 discs, seeing how the two Undertakers differ from one another, and if they have similar enough flights that the ATHENA could replace it for Paul McBeth. Very interested to see, because the ESP Undertaker, especially in this close to colors, was my first disc that I pretty much ever got at a player's pack at a tournament in Tucson, which is just an ace race, not sanctioned or anything, in February. And the profile on these guys is interesting. I haven't held one in a while, and this makes me remember that on the rim, it actually, instead of just going straight down, it actually goes inside. I don't really know what that's called. Some maybe plus rim, I don't really know. It makes it kind of feel like it's gonna fall off my fingers a little bit more than even the 7-speed ATHENA. That's interesting. I'm interested to see how that works, especially on a forehand. The numbers on these guys are 9.5, -1.2, and the Discraft stability rating is 1.4. The ESP plastic, if you've ever felt it, I mean, you probably know, it actually kind of feels similar to the Alpha plastic out of Lone Star discs. Always looks good, feels good. I like the grip in it, but it can get a little bit slick in when it's wet, but we're not gonna try to get it wet today. The titanium, I've never actually thrown anything that was titanium from Discraft before. This is my first time ever touching this plastic. It feels pretty resilient. I don't even really know what to compare it to. Maybe like Meta from Discmania. It feels good. I honestly might prefer it to ESP. It feels like a slightly grippier version of ESP. And the profile on these guys is pretty much just like what you'd expect from a 9-speed. I do notice that this little area here, I don't know if that's flashing or what, but I notice it on both of these drivers. The ATHENA we've already reviewed and compared on this channel, both the Proto and the first run. It's exactly the same as my Birdie Strikes, in my opinion, which I prefer just because they don't have any tooling. All these will have tooling underneath them. We are slightly racing against the clock, but we have a par 4. I think it's 582 feet, just around the corner here, and then another straight shot. Kind of perfect for fairway to fairway driver, get about 300 each. I'm gonna throw these all on some hyzer and see how much they'll flip. I'll throw them on hyzer hard. Now, Tyler's my patron who requested the ESP Undertaker for the Baggett or Bennett, but if I don't beat par with any of these discs, I'm gonna send them out to Tyler. So that includes the ATHENA as well, but I think we're gonna be under par with all of them. It is a little shallow, the Undertaker, so I'll tell you what, just based on feel, if I was Paul, I'd be happy that I got the ATHENA. Oh, that's some flip up. Sit down, sit down, sit down. Oh my gosh, that is far. Skip. I think I did not realize, but that is out of bounds. All right, good to know. That pushed pretty far, and that did flip up and ride the hyzer. Should have thrown it a little more inside. Jeez, Anthony. We're gonna go titanium Undertaker next. Let's flip up. That is definitely not as flippy. Off the first throw, which we all know can be fraudulent. And now for the ATHENA. Oh, that's the flippiest of the bunch. Oh, that's gonna be OB too. Those are so far though. Oh my God, those went a mile. That is not good. First throw. I honestly didn't even think that there was OB here. I didn't even realize. Don't sink. Thank you. Hey, remember what I said about ESP and wet? Also, why is it floating? Oh, never mind. What a ding dong. All right, we can finally see the basket. There are kids playing, but it's straight ahead of us there. Oh yeah. Straight sip, straight skip. That should be a putt. I like the way that thing flies. Sit down. Oh, those are gonna be interesting putts. I thought this would be a very simple birdie for these discs, and I didn't even realize there was OB. All right, straight over. So we got just a big hyzer, honestly. We might have to flex it just to be safe and stay in bounds. Oh, that's way too nose up and bad. All right, hey, if we can start off with 3 pars, I'll be relatively happy. I do have to make that ATHENA and ESP putt though. Got it. No! All right, titanium taking the easy par. Now the question is, where did the ESP go? We got an ATHENA down here and the ESP Undertaker right down there. Okay, this one's kind of got a lane. Oh, okay, this guy just, oh, it's gotta be a scuba. Oh no, if this goes OB, this is bad. No! No, 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 no. Par, +1 to start. All right, after 1 hole, I do think that the ESP is under, I think the order of stability is titanium, ESP, ATHENA, which makes sense because 9 speeds are gonna act more stable than a 7-speed. This hole's interesting though, because it's only 325 feet, maybe 282. It's either 290 or 320. So we're gonna have to flex these all through this initial gap and go back to the left. Titanium Undertaker, then Athena, then ESP. I think I can trust this on a little bit of turn. Or through the sneaky gap on a really bad shot because I didn't want to commit to the turn at all. Hey, pro tip, when you're trying to throw an hyzer shot, follow through. That's one for the people. Much better, Anthony. Go in. Oh, that's so good. Flex out of it, be more stable because you're a freaking 9-speed. Come on. Oh, that's gonna be so far gone. Sit. Oh, never mind, that's parked. Never mind, let's circle the basket. We're happy. We are very happy. I still think my assessment on the stability is just right. And I think for a player like Paul, the 7-speed might allow him to not have to have as much touch. They seem pretty similar. I think the 9-speed is just gonna go a little farther. So I've been trying a lot of these 9, 5, -1, 2. It's kind of a slot that I might want to add to my bag just for some touch and some extra length. Because like I have my strike, which is pretty much the same thing as the Athena. This disc, I feel like can go slightly further and like can get me probably that 400-foot range a little bit more controlled than my 11 or 12 speed. I might have to think about it. I don't like the rim weird thing on the Undertaker, so it's not gonna be that disc, but it could be something similar. No, Anthony, great height though. Oh man, this ESP Undertaker is parked. Whew. Back to even. 3 more holes to get a birdie. All right, a little trade-off. We're gonna have a lot more light, but it might be a little grainier as I zoom in. But we're gonna get to try these guys on a forehand now, because this hole is about 310 feet. Probably not gonna be able to see it. It's red inside there. Actually, this camera is way better than I give it credit for. And this is what I might really like these for, to throw them flat, but hard. Let them turn and let them come back. Let that -1, 2 do the work. Looks like, oh, the Athena has the box. And this is something that the 7-speed, I honestly probably feel a little more comfortable forehanding that than I do this. So maybe even just for forehands, I might have to, we'll see. If I like how these forehand, I might have to add a 9.5 -1, 2 to the bag. I did not put it on flex, but I left it high. It's gonna be some sort of putt, that's for sure. ESP boy, a little lower, because that was slightly nose up, because I tried to turn it and didn't turn it. And sometimes similar to the last hole. Hey, if you want to throw an anhyzer, actually follow through. If you want to throw an anhyzer, actually follow through, or it's gonna be nose up. Oh, I don't like the tooling though on the rim, and I don't like the feel of the rim for a forehand. Oh, it's just, it feels like it's gonna slip. Oh, Anthony. I tried to keep it lower, kept it too low. Okay. Maybe don't throw it on hyzer next time. I will tell you what, those were not good forehands, but similar to like a lot of this, how it feels in your hand is gonna affect how you throw it. That rim does not inspire confidence. It makes me feel like it's gonna slip out. So I wanna intrinsically put it on more hyzer because that is less likely of slipping than if I was to throw it flat. And so because of that, I think I threw him slightly more hyzer to try to throw it too hard. It's definitely my fault, it was a bad shot, but the grip on the disc can definitely influence how you throw it. That being said, we do have a forehand in right here. Oh my God, that's gone. Jeez. That one did hold the turn. I think these might have to get put on turn to hold the turn, and they will like flip up to flat. All right, Athena does not really have a great look, but there's kind of a gap like straight through to the basket here, if I can hit it correctly. Oh, right over top. Nope. Easy 3 though. Alrighty. These two are the cleanups for the easy pars. I do need to find that ESP one though, because, oh please, I really hope it didn't go too far. All right, no more closed holes. Oh, I need to make this. Oh my gosh. Easy. Let's go. I am shipping off both the Undertakers unless I can make something happen on these last 2 holes. One of which is gonna be a backhand, long backhand, 390-foot backhand. The other which is gonna be a forehand up a very tight gap, which does not inspire confidence. All right, I really hope that this is enough light to give us a good look at the flights, because this hole is 391 feet straight down there. And so we're gonna try to hyzer flip them. The basket is all the way down there. I'm sure we'll see it on the second shot. Actually, we're not gonna throw that because there's a better line, I think. It's this anhyzer line right here to see if I throw them flat to Annie, how much Annie do they hold and do they fight back out of it? Because ideally they should fight back out towards the end and give us a look at the 2. Flex back. Well, that's pretty short. That was a little bit nose up out of my hand, and I knew it. I didn't follow through. I feel like I keep saying to follow through, and then I'm not following through. It's kind of a rookie move. All right, ESP Undertaker up next, because somehow we saved the par there. Okay, that's interesting. It was slightly nose up, definitely more nose down than the Athena. Ugh, this is actually not a good line. Okay, that one did not want to turn much at all. The titanium is definitely more overstable, and I think you would be able to tell that from just the plastics, from what people have said. And luckily this isn't an exhibition in how to throw hyzer shots today, because I have been uncommitted in most of them. And to be honest with you, I think I prefer the flight in terms of controllability of the Athena. I don't think it quite goes as far, but I feel like since it's slightly slower, when you put it on a line, it's going to act more to your power. And I think it's honestly farther than these other two, even though it was slightly more nose up, which might be because, first off, the titanium probably was equally nose up, but where the heck is it? I think the 9 speeds, because it's faster, it's going to like dump a little bit more instead of just gliding to the ground. And that might be why that, honestly, the Athena is like closer, like it's in jump out range, whereas I might be able to jump with the ESP, but this one definitely is just forehand up. Oh, that's so good. Dang it. And not really that I've thrown the Athena more, I think I just know that slot better. And I honestly prefer that 7502 for a controllable fairway, which is probably like, I think that lends itself to my thesis that Paul wanted that slot more than an Undertaker. Because I'm sure the faster his arm speed, he can push them out pretty similar. But the fact that this is slower makes it just a more workable version of what his Undertakers have been for him, because he's been having to go between his Undertakers and his Reapers, and the Reapers are like 8304, 8403, just way more. I've never tried one, but just based on the numbers, they're a little weirder. I don't imagine he'll put away his Undertakers, because just doing these reviews has made me think, hey, there's probably a spot in my bag for something like this disc. I just need to figure out what that spot is and how to actually make use of it. But we got one hole left and almost no daylight, so we're gonna just try these one more time. Luckily, I'm able to see most of the flight, so I can relay that information to you. I hope you enjoy this chaoticness. Subscribe if you do. We need a birdie though with these Undertakers, which is not good. We're gonna see how they hold forehand hyzer. And this hole is straight ahead of us, slightly into the right along this line of trees, 277 feet, so 300 feet. So we're gonna see these, I should be able to get all these on hyzer there, because we're going down that left side gap there. It's gonna be a little hard to see. I'm gonna try to get out of the way. Athena has the box, then ESP, then titanium. Last hole. Oh my gosh, that's such clean forehand. It's not gonna get far enough because it's not gonna skip hard, but that was such a clean forehand. I have to just trust the hyzer release on these because of this weird little freaking rim. Oh, Anthony, get around it. That, okay, well, definitely 9.5, -1.2. I just baby hyzered it, flipped up and just went straight. So those both need to be throw-ins. I've been so proud of the fact that I haven't had to do a giveaway in a while. I've been winning my challenges and stuff, and then we come out here at dark and I go crazy. I will say, at least new, there's not like a crazy measurable difference between the ESP and the titanium. I know that ESP beats up faster than most of the other premium plastics from Discraft, so that's probably a lot where the difference is gonna come in. That like these tree hits, maybe if I go and play another round over the next 2 days and hit the same amount of trees, the titanium will retain its stability a little bit more than that ESP will. But out of the box, they fly pretty similarly. The ESP, if you hit it hard enough, does have more flip up though, for sure. All right, we have bumped the ISO up to the moon, and we need a forehand throw-in. Oh my gosh, Anthony. That almost kicked off and like went close to in. This is one of the things, I just posted a forehand video yesterday. Stances is one of the things I was talking about because I just don't get low enough and I don't follow through. And that releases everything nose up. All right, my last chance at retaining this disc. Oh, just overhead. I've got some comments before that I'm like a Discraft hater. I'm really not. I like a lot of their stuff. They just have a lot of interesting molds. Like they innovate and do different things. And not a lot of that works for me a lot of times. And to be completely honest with you, I was really expecting to have like a renaissance moment with the Undertaker because all right, it's too dark. Oh my gosh. Because it was the first disc that I ever really threw far straight. It feels familiar because it's one of the first discs that I've thrown, but I really don't enjoy that type of rim anymore. I just really can't do it. All right, Athena, get another birdie. All right, let's actually get some light and I'll give you my final thoughts. Oh my gosh, this footage hopefully is semi-usable because this is one of the most fun videos I filmed. So, the Undertaker. I'm very glad that I reviewed these discs, even if it was in this crazy hectic of a format, because I do think I got a good idea for them. I think that they're pretty similar to most 9.5 -1.2 discs, maybe even slightly more overstable, which would make sense if they're a disc that Paul is throwing a lot, and they are pretty new. The titanium is probably going to be more overstable than the ESP, which makes sense. But when I ripped them really hard, they rode up to flat and did start to come back. But I do think that if you go and look at footage from the tournaments this year, and then you look at the tournaments next year, a lot of the holes that Paul is throwing the Undertaker on, I'm guessing he's going to be throwing the Athena, because I think it's slightly more controllable. It'll stop a little bit easier for him, and that distance control is just a helpful thing to have. Not that he's not going to take these out, especially if he needs another, what, 40, 50 feet? Because I can probably, if I'm in a flat field, throw these farther than I can throw the Athena, but the Athena goes really far, honestly. So I think that this is the right move for Paul and for Discraft players to have. These are solid. I personally don't like them very much just because of the rim and the tooling. Like, that plus rim, I'm sure fits a lot of hands really well. For me, it just makes it a Bennett disc, which I'm kind of sad to say, because this is one of the first discs that I ever threw. And I don't think it's a bad disc. I think for so many people, it is a Baggett disc. And so many of you probably have it in your bags and are already typing out your comments about how much I hate Discraft, even though I don't. This just isn't the disc for me. But it's kind of sad for me because this is one of the first discs that I ever threw and ever really liked. But now having thrown so much more, I just find such a lack of comfort and a lack of confidence when I grip this disc, throwing it on a forehand or a backhand because of the way that the rim sits in my hand, which is just a personal thing, and that's how it is. Tyler, you're getting these discs. If you want to see my last Baggett or Bennett, check it out right up here. It was where we tested similar style discs, but with 7 glide versus 5 glide, and seeing if that 7 glide was even legit. But I do want to continue testing out this style, 9.5 -1.2, to see if any of them would fit in my bag. Hopefully you appreciated the chaos. If you want to be my boss for a day and tell me which disc review, go ahead and join my Patreon down below. Otherwise, subscribe to the channel, please. Like the video. Okay, love you. Bye.